Sometimes life is messy. Have you ever wished you could refocus your mind, home, relationships, and work life? Join us as we use research-based information to make practical changes and simplify life. This is Life Simplified.
Welcome to Life Simplified. This is Ashley, and I'll be your host for today. And before we dive into our topic, I have a question. On average, how many decisions do you think the American adult makes each day?
10,000. Or maybe that's just me. It feels like a lot. But if I'm being realistic, I would say it's got to be at least 100.
I was going to say 200.
Maybe about 150.
Okay, so according to multiple sources, 35,000.
Oh, man.
Oh, wow.
So 10,000, I was lowballing.
Yeah. Now, not all of those are major decisions, but just those little bitty decisions. Am I going to get out of bed, or am I going to hit the snooze button? That's what we're talking here. Even those tiny decisions. So, thinking about that, what decisions have you already made this morning?
Did I want to get out of bed or not?
Right.
half of those.
Right? A lot. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, half of those, because I had to get 2 tiny humans ready by myself and get them to daycare. And
Yes.
yeah, so lots of things.
Yeah, and I had drop off for one kid, and am I going to run by my office before I come over here to record, and which direction do I want to go, because there was a wreck that was on the radio, and yeah, a
lot.
So many.
Right. And even the small ones that you don't really think about, what am I going to wear, unless you chose last night, which I did not. Am I going to buy?
Do that?
Sometimes I do. No, listen. On bingo size days, I'm like, woohoo! I've got a uniform for bingo size. I do not have to think about it. This is what I'm wearing.
And that's funny because, as a kid, you're like, do not force me to wear anything. It's my individuality, and I'm over here I didn't have to decide, so I'm going to wear this thing whether I like it or not.
Yes. I have very seriously considered being all right, how about I get 5 very similar pairs of pants, and then 5 extension shirts, and there we go. This is my uniform for the...
Just have the rotation.
This
You
is
see
just
me
a
today,
rotation.
Ma.
Yes.
Easy
Unless
put on.
I just wake up and I'm like, well, I'd like to do something different today. But if I don't have to decide, all right. So yeah, this morning, so many decisions just between the 4 of us in this room. And I was thinking, when I was trying to think about my decisions, I'm like, am I going to buy coffee today, or am I going to make coffee today? Silly decision, but still a decision that I had to make.
Which is important.
Yeah,
Coffee's an important decision.
it was an important decision, and which this episode will air on a Tuesday, but we're recording on a Friday, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get coffee today. That's what's happening. Am I gonna stretch this morning, or am I just gonna get up, get ready, and go to work? So today we are diving into the topic of decision fatigue. This has been a requested topic, as well as a topic that many of us experience, even if we do not realize it. Decision fatigue is this idea that making many decisions takes a toll on us, and by the end of the day, we may not be functioning at our best. Sound familiar?
100%.
Everybody in this room is just nodding
Every day.
Yep.
Every day.
Today already? No, it's morning time. We're still good this morning, although we've made 12,000 decisions already. We're going to talk about what decision fatigue is, how it shows up in our everyday life, and then some strategies that you can use to help simplify your decision load. So we've already talked about what decision fatigue is, but according to the National Institutes of Health, they say it is the impaired ability to make decisions and control behavior as a consequence of repeated decision making. And one definition that I found from the Women's Brain Health Initiative said that it's the mental and emotional exhaustion that impairs our ability to make decisions after repeated decision making. And I wanted to include that one because I think that's very true. It's not just, I just don't want to make a decision anymore, but you are mentally and emotionally exhausted. And while, yes, that came from the Women's Brain Health Initiative, it doesn't necessarily just happen to women. Anyone can have decision fatigue.
Well, and we've talked about mental load a couple of times, and it sounds like decision fatigue goes kind of hand in hand with carrying that mental load. And when your mental load is overwhelmed, you're going to probably have decision fatigue.
Yes, and that was one of the things that I thought about when I was going through and looking up this information, how it does coincide with the mental load. And we do have a mental load episode, so we'll link that in the show notes so that you can go back and take a look at that as well. So by the time we get to the end of the day, we may be depleted. Like our brain no longer has the fuel to make decisions, and we may find ourselves making more impulsive decisions, avoiding making decisions. That's definitely me. Like by the end of the day, I'm like, I just don't want to make any more decisions.
Yeah.
So, or maybe you're choosing the easiest option rather than the one that is the best. And then according to the Cleveland Clinic, here's some other signs of decision fatigue. And I'm interested if any of these resonate with anyone. Procrastination. We already talked about being impulsive. Exhausted. Brain fog. Anyone? Brain fog?
Every day.
Irritability.
Yes. Yes.
I've got that one like underlined.
You could ask my husband, he'd be like, she's got that.
Yep. That's facts. Overwhelm,
Yes.
Yep.
dissatisfaction, and regret, or regret. And then physical discomfort, which I thought was interesting. But it makes sense because you're stressed and like maybe you've got a tension headache. What kinds of signs do you see of decision fatigue in your life?
Exhaustion for sure, but I carry all of my stress and anxiety and whatever in my right side of my neck and shoulder. And I can literally feel it tensing up when I get to that point. And then after that, it's going to come a headache. It's all going to go together, and it's just going to feel miserable.
I'll have to agree with Tiffany. I usually in my neck is where I carry all of that as well. But I would have to say pretty much all of them I hit that you just read. So just done, cannot think about anything anymore else. And you just want to go in your bed and hide. So
Yeah, I agree. And I think the just thinking about it, like there's some days it's like the kids are just like everywhere and I'm just sitting in the floor like, I don't even care. Like, you want to climb on that? You want to jump? Go for it. You want a candy bar? I don't even care. And I think it's because I'm so exhausted. I'm just like, I'm done for the day. I'm here and we're just surviving. So yeah, I agree with that one.
Same. And I resonated with all of those as well. But if I'm really thinking about it, mine is very much, I don't want to make any more decisions today, and irritability. And that's what I see in myself at the end of a day where I've made all the decisions. The Cleveland Clinic talks about decision fatigue and when it's likely to occur. And I thought this was really interesting because when I was going through, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, check. So let's see what you guys think. All right, so decision fatigue likely to occur if you make a lot of decisions, whether that be personal or in a work setting or whatever setting. If your decisions impact other people.
Yes.
Which, looking around this room, many of the decisions that we make in a day affect other people, both personally and at our job. If you're in the middle of a life transition, if you're uncertain about something, or this one really got me, y'all. If you tend toward being a perfectionist. Did any of those resonate?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the heaviest one is when your decisions affect other people, because that weighs heavy on me, because I don't want to make a mistake for others.
Yes.
Like, I think I can handle the burden of my own mistake, but when I make a decision that harms other people, it really bothers me.
I agree with that. And we make a whole lot of decisions that affect other people. And I'm sure our listeners do as well. When you're thinking about decision fatigue, are there any particular places in your life that you see that showing up more? So like at work, or in your parenting life, in your personal life, when you're making purchases, where do you find yourself really suffering most from decision fatigue?
Family. Families, which I do all of them that you just said, but
Well, sure.
family really seems to be, where I go, whenever I'm upset, they get the brunt of it. I come in last night. I had a stressful day yesterday, rode in at 10 o'clock last night. My husband got the brunt of it. He was home. He just asking questions like, I don't want to discuss anything anymore. I'm done, just whatever, So family for me is where it normally ends up.
Yeah.
Not that I'm trying to, it just
Well,
sometimes
no.
they're the people I see, especially at the end of the day. So
Yeah, I think that's so true. I think what happens is not necessarily that family is more stressful or overwhelming than work, but it's the time of day. It's that timing.
Yeah.
And you've just kind of, I'm done. Like, I have no more to give at that point. So you're right. They do get the brunt of it. And I get to the point where I'm like, I just cannot. I cannot make one more decision for any other human. Please walk away from me and ask me nothing at this point. Matter of fact, this morning, knowing like it's Friday as we're recording, and I'm, it's been a week, and I told the husband, I said, listen, be thinking about what you want for dinner, and it's not going to be something I make. So I don't care where we go or what we pick up, but you decide and let me know, because all I do know is I'm not cooking.
Or deciding.
Yes, exactly. So,
yep.
Yes, I do that too. Listen, I do not care what it is, but I'm not making the decision. But what I love about this is that we had already decided as a group here where we were going to eat lunch today. So we're talking about decision fatigue, and usually we look around at each other and we're like, well, what do you want? What do you want? No, we had already decided. So we do not have to stress about that today.
So for me, I think it's been work. So we've moved into a new, larger facility. And so a lot of the community people will come to me and ask me questions or want this. And I'm like, I can't make these decisions by myself, because like we mentioned, it affects other people too. And so some people in my office like make those decisions, and then we have to deal with it. And I'm like, I'm not going to be that way. So I'm overly like asking people like, what's your opinion, taking things to them. And I'm not trying to put it off on them, like not making that decision, but I'm trying to be more mindful of, hey, if I decide this, how is it going to affect everybody else? So I think work right now, just in that transition of time.
Well, sure. And I'm sure it changes depending
Yeah.
on your season. And I feel I make a lot of decisions at work. And I think that then by the time I get home, I'm not interested in making decisions, but I feel like I have a lot of parenting decisions to make right now. I've got a middle schooler. And so this is a big transition for all of us. And I feel like I'm not doing my best making decisions with parenting, because I've made so many other decisions throughout the day that by the time I get home, I'm like, well,
I agree with what you just said. It's in all areas in our lives, and that, and it may be one day family, one day home, and it may be all of everything in one day. It's hard to really sit and think about what is the one that is the worst, because for me personally, it seems like all of it hits at one time.
yes.
Yeah.
And and especially if you are the one carrying the mental load, that even adds even more decisions. And if you're unfamiliar with the mental load, that just a very brief description, that's the unseen work, the strategizing, if you are the one who purchases the groceries, if you do the grocery shopping, then are you also the one who looks in the cabinets to see what you need? You make the list, you go pick it up or go shopping for it, and then you put it away and decide where it goes. So we're not going to go into mental load.
You're just stressing me
there you
out
go.
right now.
I know. I am the person who does the grocery shopping, so I'm like, it's the weekend. It's time to make another list. All right, but okay. So what do we do? What do we do? I know we're stressing ourselves out just talking about all
You're
the
building
decisions.
us up. Now guide us through it.
Okay.
You got
Good.
this.
Pull your blankets over your head.
I know.
night.
Yes. But you know what? Okay, so I'm glad you said that. We'll start with that one because sometimes it is taking a break. So, and not from all the things. Like we're not just running away. We do need to build in breaks and time for rest. And while I know that that's hard to do, and I know that's hard for me to do because my brain is just going, and I don't always feel like I can rest until things are done. But sometimes we have to. And I've had to let a lot of how I would like my house to look in order to get any type of relaxation and rest, because I'm like, well, I can't rest until I get all this stuff picked up around the house. But I don't know where it's going to go, and I have to figure out where it's going to go. So I don't have the bandwidth to do that right now. So I've had to put that perfectionist tendency aside in that area, but I do feel it coming out in other areas. But we do have to take a break, and we do have to rest. Another thing is to streamline those smaller decisions. So the ones that are not as big of a deal. And you're the only one who can decide what that is. But they're not all major decisions, even if they do feel like it at the time. So can you plan your clothes the night before? Can you plan them for the week? That may work for some people. Like I said, during my bingo size days, I'm like, woohoo, I already know what I'm wearing. It's great. Stories, songs, and stretches. It's the same outfit every time. Like, I don't know if anybody notices, but it is literally the same outfit, and I could not be happier about it. Like that, you've got to decide what matters to you. And me having one less decision to make and being comfortable while I am practicing active story time is something that matters to me.
So it makes me think about, and I don't know if y'all remember this, there was an FCS agent, it's been, I don't know, maybe 3 years ago. She wore the same dress, like, was it 20 days or like a month?
I remember this.
And she just styled it different ways. So she would put like a cardigan or a scarf, but she wore that same exact dress. I'm sure she washed, I mean, I don't know, I didn't get to the details about it, but she was like, I think it was more of a minimalist kind of thing, but also thinking like, hey, that's one less decision. I just pull a jacket or a belt or a necklace, and it's the same thing. So maybe that could be for a lot of us.
But if fashion is your thing,
That's true.
and that's what you want to make a decision about, more power to you. But if it's not, and that's not a top priority, maybe that's something you could do. Maybe you can plan your meals weekly instead of going day by day like sometimes I honestly do, especially during particular seasons. It's like, here are things in the fridge. Let's go with what we're doing. Automating bill payments. So that's one thing off of your to-do list. What kind of other things just in your life do you see as, but remember, this is a very personal decision because you've got to think about what matters to you. So, but what kind of things do you see in your life that you could streamline, that you could make easier? Those tiny decisions that could be made easier.
Well, one of the things I do that makes my life easier, and we've talked about it before, but I get meal boxes mailed to me weekly. And for me, like, my husband has said to me multiple times, like, you already know these recipes now. Why don't you just go buy it and we can make it? And because it's not always about like learning a new recipe. It's about they've given me the ingredients and this is what you're going to make this week. And I don't have to decide that. I don't have to make the grocery list. I don't have to make the grocery run. It takes a lot of steps out of my week that I'm like, yeah, I probably could make it a little bit cheaper and I could do it without this. But for my own just mental health, it helps me eliminate that stressor from my life. So for me, it's money well spent because we can afford it. But it would be different for other people. But that helps me kind of take some decisions off of my plate.
Well, and that comes with the ingredients already. This is how much you're going to need of this onion.
It's already
so here
measured.
it is.
Like, do this.
Yeah.
So I can see how that would make things a lot easier.
So for me, it's as far as groceries as well. But, what do I have that I can carry on throughout the week? But not only that, it's just making sure that I'm prepared for work, for the next week. I may, on Friday, may look and say, okay, what do I have that I can go on and get prepared for ahead of time? Sometimes I don't always do that, but sometimes I really try to. Then that way I'm set up for the next week.
I've been trying to at work also, like, and in the past, I didn't have enough time to breathe, so this wasn't going to happen. But when I find that I have an unexpected hour or more to do something, I'm starting to look the next week and even 2 weeks ahead. And how can I start prepping, making copies, getting together supplies and materials that I need for things that are coming up? And then I'm ahead of the game. And it's actually proved to be really helpful because there's been some things that have kind of come up I wasn't expecting. And I was already ready to go for some programs and didn't have to stress over when am I going to get that prepped. So I think that's something I've not always done, but I've tried to do here in the last month or two, and it's made a big impact.
Along those lines, speaking at work, I've also really tried to batch tasks. Mm-hmm. So I go to the preschool once a month, and I go to multiple preschools. And at one time, I had them scheduled whenever the schedule allowed. But this year, I have tried to put them one day apart so that I've got time to prep the day before each of them. But then they're in the same week, so I can prep everything, make sure copies are made ahead of time. And then while I'm prepping those preschool programs, I'm still in a preschool mind, so I work on my Laugh and Learn, and I work on my story, songs, and stretches when possible. With our job, that's not always possible, and I'm sure it's not always with our listeners' jobs as well. But when possible, if I can group tasks together, that is more efficient for me.
So I think for me is the grocery pickup.
Yes.
And I think that has helped. And I've really been trying to be more mindful, kind of like for work too. So I've been utilizing it for work. And that way, if I know, like this afternoon, I'm going to have to do it. I have 2 cooking things next week. I'm going to go ahead, make my list, put the order in, and I'm done with it. Like, I know I'm not going to pick it up till next Wednesday, but you know what? It's off my plate. And that's the same, like, for at home. So we do that at home, too. And if there's something we're out of, I automatically add it to my cart. And that way I don't have to be like, what was that? Or make a list. Like, it's there. I already know that I need it. And then pick whatever time and day, and I'm ready to go. So that's really helped me.
I've recently started utilizing pickup for work, too. And game changer.
Yes, it definitely is.
Yes, that if that's an option for you. And at home, we have entered a busy season of ball games, and we have 3-4 a week, and so meal prepping has been a challenge. And what I have done, instead of deciding this is what we're going to have every night, because we don't know what we're going to be hungry for, what time we're going to get home, I've decided basically for the week, all right, I'm going to make a pot of chili this week. So whatever day of the week you would like chili, here it is. The other nights, there's some lunch meat. There may be something that you can microwave, but just purchasing the items at the beginning of the week, and everybody can make their own decision when they get home. And that has really helped take the pressure off of me, because I know myself. I know I'm not going to want to come home from the game and cook something. And we're all tired after a long day. So now, here are your options for the whole week. There you go. Another option would be to limit the number of choices that you have. So that could go with clothes, that could go with meals. Schedule important decisions when you're most alert. And I think that is a good one, and something that I do with work. I try to do the most important tasks in the morning, because that is when I'm going to be most alert. And then, not that this is not an important task, but this is a task where I can sit and just kind of work my way through it. I edit podcasts in the afternoons when I'm not quite as fresh, but I'm not having to make as many decisions.
And I think knowing yourself too, that's really good, because when I talk to a group that I teach positive employability skills to, one of the things we talk about is time management. And when I talk about time management, I say, it's kind of like this. It's not one size fits all. You need to know yourself in order to be a better time manager. And that means if I'm a morning person and that's when I'm at my freshest, that's when I do those difficult tasks and get them done. But maybe I'm not a morning person, and that's okay. I need to ease into my day. I save those tasks for later in the day. Maybe I'm a night owl and I do better as things progress and I can get it done then. You really have to know who you are. And if you're not sure, it's one of those things of trying and then getting a feel for, that was a whole lot easier for me to get done at this point of the day instead of others. And even the way you schedule your meetings, the way you plan things that you're doing, if you can learn when you're at your best, you will be more successful in all aspects.
Another tip is to delegate decisions. And I kind of chuckle at this because I'm like, I'm not very good at delegating, so
I try to delegate. Because that's when I'm like, ask your dad, and they're like, he said ask you. You're like, no.
I will say for myself with that, I have never been good about delegating and asking for help or anything. But here lately, I have at work, and my staff support is doing a fantastic job. I gave her a task that I was trying to keep up with, and just with everything else, she has taken that role and doing a fantastic job. So me delegating that to her has helped me with my mental load far as for everything else, and that I can focus on better programming than from what, I asked her to do.
Yes. And it is important. And like I said, I'm not great at it because I feel like all the decisions are so important, but they are not. And we talked about that earlier, that some are smaller decisions that are not as important. So can you delegate those decisions to someone else?
I actually really like delegating, because then most times I will delegate the tasks that I don't love doing anyways, and I know someone else has a better skill set for that, so then it can get done better, and I can really focus in on that thing that fuels me and makes me excited.
Build routines and habits is our next tip. And so when you build a routine and a habit, that involves less thinking because it's more automatic. And I think of a morning time routine with this, and that's just what popped into my head. Then I don't have to make as many decisions. And basically, I have the same thing for breakfast every morning, and I get up and I do the same things every morning. And I guess that could kind of seem a little monotonous, a little boring. But if I get up and I don't want to eat that thing, then I'll just do something else. But until I'm sick of it, that's one less decision I have to make. So I think of morning time routines. I think of evening routines there. If you can get into a routine at work, depending on your job, routines are not always the easiest, but a little bit of a routine can help.
There's also safety and security in routines. Like, it's why they say have routines for your kids, because when we have an idea of what's coming next, we're less anxious. We kind of know what to expect and we can be prepared. Clearly we always have to be able to be flexible and pivot. But I think having an idea of what your day looks like just makes you ease into it with less fear and worry.
just a couple of more tips, and these are good for lots of things that we have talked about, but of course, exercising. I know. We're all like, oh, okay, yes, we know.
Me too, I know.
I know. But exercising does help relieve stress, and it does give us endorphins. So exercising does help with decision fatigue.
It's dark at like lunchtime now.
I know.
I think I can't do it.
I know.
Help me.
Finding ways to manage stress. Self-care. We talk about self-care a lot. And then building downtime into your day. So try not to work through lunch every day. I've been a lot better about that. Sometimes I like to leave my desk and go eat lunch, and I go to the break room and I eat lunch and I read my book, and then I come back and walk on my walking pad for 15 minutes if I have the 15 minutes. So I've been pretty good about building in downtime at lunch.
Yeah, I'm pretty awful. Like I eat at my desk while doing things almost every day. But I do try to then flex that out somewhere to do something I need to do or do something for myself. So it's kind of a give and take. But
what is one habit that you're going to take away from this episode to help you reduce decision fatigue in your life? And you don't have to do it today, but what would you like to try to do within the next, let's say, 2 weeks?
So for myself, I would like to start planning out my outfits for work and do outfits that, regardless of what I'm doing, that's going to work, and that's one less thing I have to worry about and focus on in the morning time, because sometimes my brain doesn't work very well in the morning time. So just having that in place.
I think that's going to be mine, and I can try it next week because my husband's going to be out of town for like 3 nights. So if I do that, then I'll be ready. It's less time, less decisions. I will do it next week. Now, after that, we'll just see how it goes. Okay. But laying clothes out, I think will be helpful for me.
Small steps.
Small steps.
I think working to delegate more at home. I feel like at work I can do that and I've got it down. But, asking the husband or the kids to do a certain task and then just letting it go, and it's going to go the way it goes. But I can't do all the things.
And that is what I need to do. I'm probably going to...
I'm not going to do that.
I'm probably not going to do that. I need to do that. I recognize this. So that recognition, awareness is the key. But I'm probably going to do the clothes thing. Like, I'm going to pick out my clothes, and
I think
I'm
it's
not going to worry about it.
Adapt.
Yes, because that's not one of the things. Tiffany's like, I care about my clothes.
I can't. I'm very mood specific. This is why I cannot pack for travel, because I don't know if my mood will be that same mood when I get there. And I like to accessorize quite a bit.
Yes. Mine is probably going to be the clothes. I'm going to pick out my clothes, and y'all, I may have a uniform by the next time y'all see me, because that sounds fantastic. Although when I was in high school, I would have been like, what? You cannot give me a uniform. But now I'm like, I would like a uniform, please. But I need the pants to be comfortable.
Yes.
That's all I ask.
It's like that meme, and I know y'all have seen this, where it's like when you're a teenager, you're like, don't tell me what to do. Nobody can tell me what to do. And you're like, as an adult, please tell me in very specific and exact detail what I need to do.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a coworker that was like, my goal is to have enough shirts that I can wear 2 weeks, like work shirts with the logo, that I can wear something for 2 weeks, like 2 weeks worth of shirts, or so I guess 10 shirts or whatever that was. So I don't have to worry about it. I just put it on. It's my work clothes. I wear it and I'm done.
I like it. I'm very seriously considering that. To wrap us up, key takeaways here. Small steps matter. So pick what matters to you as far as decision making goes, and then go from there. So start small, pick one thing that you can automate this week, or pick a time that you can take a break and do something for yourself. Routines reduce daily decision making. Rest does restore your clarity, so take a break. Step away before you reach your mental limit. Simplify where you can. Reserve your mental bandwidth for what really matters, and then give yourself grace. As always, if you have any questions, reach out to us at lifesimplifiedpodcast@gmail.com. If you gained something from this podcast, we would love it if you would share it. Thank you for listening. This is Life Simplified.
Thanks for listening to Life Simplified. We are family and consumer sciences agents with the University of Kentucky Cooperative Extension Service. Contact us at lifesimplifiedpodcast@gmail.com.